Hi. First of all, there's the beautiful Border Collie thing. Perfect. Right. I noticed in Liverpool, in England, the people that take responsibility for the sales of the Sun newspaper, that Murdoch newspaper. In other words, because of the Sun's horrible reporting of the Hillsborough disaster, it's unofficially banned. The Sun's unofficially banned from the city of Liverpool. And the newsagents don't stock it, and even if they did, no one buys it. And the Sun newspaper are banned from Anfield, and I guess you'd have to check my facts on this, so you can check me out. Right? I guess they're banned from Goodison Park as well, Everton, because there's solidarity between Everton and Liverpool. I mean, clearly there's a stigma on buying the Sun in Liverpool, so Everton fans are not buying the Sun. And Everton Football Club obviously have respect for their local rivals, considering the magnitude of the issue we're dealing with here. Hillsborough being crushed to death. So, if any petty rivalry between Liverpool and Everton exists there, well, this is beyond that. This just smashes that to smithereens. This is a much bigger issue. Now, my point isn't about Liverpool and the Sun. It's just that Liverpool set an example of how we should. Obviously, you don't have the heartbreak of what they've been through, the trauma of what they've been through. That's the right word, trauma. Such, but nevertheless, these newspapers should be not bought nationwide. We should just not buy them. The propaganda rags, they exist for themselves. They don't exist for us. That's just pretend. They just exist for their own power, profit. They make stories up, they build people up, they character assassinate, they're biased, they're for the rich, they're part of the cartel, the state superstructure. We should cease to buy them rather than wait for them to go out of power, out of business because print is going out of business. You know what I mean? We should just stop it now. Now, there's stigma in society in other areas of life. For example, people don't like to beg because the stigma associated with begging. To win the national lottery, that's okay. I'm not trying to make some massive criticism here. I'm just saying that these examples where it's okay and not okay. A universal basic income, it's thought of as citizens' income by most people, but there isn't really a stigma attached to it, and because it would have popular support. So some people would try to, but it wouldn't be stigmatised because it's quite for everyone. It's like the healthcare, NHS, and education. It's not stigmatised. It's that sort of thing. Free money in other, if it's means tested, is stigmatised. That's one of the reasons why they want it to be universal, so it's not stigmatised. Now I'm thinking, though, we need to stigmatise not only buying national newspapers, but also we need to stigmatise consuming products from businesses that are so huge that they have that they can apply blackmailing style pressure on governments to enact a billionaires kind of society that that billionaires like. You know what I mean? So like, we can't do that because we're not got that power at the bottom, but them at the top, they can do that, and they do. John Major even said that Rupert Murdoch tried to blackmail him on policy. When Major says, when I declined, Murdoch news media empire came down on him like a ton of bricks. Now, if you're on the centre left, maybe you don't care. But what I'm saying is that should not be. You shouldn't have some billionaire news media owner that does that. But think about it. That's done to the centre left routinely from Murdoch. You can say that there was a reprieve between 1995 or 96, whatever, like 97 at the latest, when the election was, to 2007, I don't know. But there we go. Anyway, it's just like, that's the system left. The system, like anywhere, they're all in it together. My point here, what I'm making, is we need to take responsibility for society. We're always whinging and whining and mourning. We're never actually taking the responsibility. That's what I'm arguing for now. The system left will ignore me and would ignore anyone saying this because they're in the system. So they think that they don't have to do anything. And even though they know the system won't really do anything, they pretend it will. Been waiting since 1945. Would you wait for a train that long? Would you wait for a train that long if you were paid 50 grand to do so? No, you wouldn't. You'd say, I'm not standing here for 80 years. But why the hell should we stand here doing nothing for 80 years while we get screwed over and manipulated by the propaganda matrix? We need to take that Liverpudlian attitude to everything. And what would the result be? Less propaganda, or almost none, wiped out. Less corruption, massively wiped out overnight. We need to do this so that the top is just like here, rather than in the bloody out of the solar system, out of our atmosphere. I always give the example, the news media should be local news media. That is the top. That should be the top. It's similar, and that's an analogy for how the economy should be as a whole. Once we allow things to get too big, then the corruption comes in. Keep everything close-knit, keep everything together, keep everything tight, keep everything small. Get rid of the propaganda matrix, in other words. But we need to take responsibility for that. We need to stop consuming and validating that which we oppose. And we need to start doing it right now. So we change. So the stigma is not on the poor. The stigma gets put on people who consume and validate the propaganda matrix. We need to stop voting as well. That's all I've got to say. That's the video. So, bye for now.